The American rent crisis is spiraling out of control. Picture this. Tens of millions of families are now spending more than half of their paycheck just to keep a roof over their heads. That's not an exaggeration. It's the reality, according to a new report that's sending shockwaves through the housing market. America's housing affordability emergency is accelerating faster than experts predicted, and the latest national data paints one of the most severe pictures the country has seen in decades. A crisis so widespread that millions of families from big cities to smaller towns are now fighting to stay afloat as rent and housing costs surge to historic highs. According to the newest State of the Nation's Housing Report from Harvard's Joint Center for Housing Studies, nearly 22.6 million renter households are officially cost-burdened, meaning they spend more than 30% of their income on rent and utilities. And within that number, an astonishing 12.1 million renters are severely burdened, paying over half their income just to remain housed. This problem is affecting Americans across the income spectrum. Full-time workers, middle-income earners, and even dual-income families who once felt stable are now struggling as wage growth fails to keep up with relentless rent increases. The U.S. has lost more than 2 million low-cost rental units since 2012, shrinking the supply of affordable homes and pushing renters into higher-priced markets where competition is fierce and vacancy rates continue to fall. Meanwhile, rents in major metropolitan areas, including New York, Los Angeles, Miami, Phoenix, and Dallas, are hovering near record highs, with many households now spending 40% or more of their income on housing alone. Even as inflation cools, rent inflation remains sticky, driven by years of underbuilding, zoning restrictions, construction labor shortages, and soaring demand. While renting becomes more unaffordable, homeownership has slipped further out of reach for millions of Americans. 30-year mortgage rates remain above 7%, and home prices nationwide have climbed so high that the median sale price now sits at nearly 5 times the median U.S. household income. This affordability gap makes it nearly impossible for younger adults, first-time buyers, and working-class families to enter the housing market, creating a generation of permanent renters. At the same time, homeowners are being hit with rising property taxes, climbing insurance premiums, especially in states facing wildfire, hurricane, or flood risks, and maintenance expenses that have risen sharply. Harvard researchers also note that 20.3 million homeowners are now cost-burdened, a dramatic rise that underscores how deeply the crisis affects both sides of the market. Housing instability is also contributing to rising homelessness in many U.S. cities, as shelters report increased demand and long wait lists for emergency housing assistance. Economic experts warn that when so many Americans funnel over half their income into rent or mortgages, spending on necessities such as food, healthcare, transportation, education, and savings drops significantly, creating long-term financial risks and widening inequality. Adding to the pressure, the U.S. continues to face a massive shortage of starter homes, as developers focus primarily on luxury housing due to higher profit margins and high construction costs, leaving ordinary families with fewer realistic options. Policymakers across the country are discussing zoning reforms, expanded rental assistance, new tax credits for builders, and federal programs designed to increase affordable housing supply. But progress is slow, and the crisis is growing faster than solutions are being implemented. For millions of everyday Americans, the housing market is no longer a path toward stability, it's a source of constant stress, fear, and uncertainty. And as this crisis expands, it is reshaping communities, altering family decisions, delaying homeownership, and placing unprecedented financial strain on renters and homeowners alike. For those watching this report, the message is clear. If housing feels impossible, if rent consumes your income, or if buying a home seems unreachable, remember that you are part of a national trend unfolding in real time. This is not an isolated issue, it is a deeply rooted economic emergency recognized by researchers, economists, and lawmakers across the country. Until significant reforms and large-scale investments are made, America's housing affordability crisis will remain one of the defining challenges of 2025 and beyond, touching every city, every income level, and every generation.